Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. We're halfway through the week, almost halfway through the month. I cannot believe it. It seems like only yesterday was the 4th of July, but here we are on the 12th. Got some special things to talk about. That's coming up in a bit. And I've got a guest, Rob Berger, and he is the author, I think is what you'd call it, of a blog. That's what you call it, right? The author of a blog?
Sure.
Sounds kind of interesting. The writer of a blog? The creator of a blog? Doughroller is the company, or the blog, and it's about money. We're going to be chatting with him coming up here in just a bit. Also, I got a quote for you from Eddie Vedder. It says, I knew all the rules, but the rules did not know me. I like that. He's a rebel. Coming up here in a bit. Like I said, special things happening today. We'll get to all of that in a bit.
Many people make extra money working from home. They find a product and they market it to earn extra income. I know what you're thinking. I just don't have the time or personality to do sales. Well, you don't have to. We have a business builder program to make our program super easy. You can sign up for this work from home business and let us help you build it. We run ads on radio stations like this one, and we help people like you learn how to earn extra monthly income. Call us toll free at 1-800-975-7592. See how easy it can be to have your own business. 1-800-975-7592.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Wednesday, July the 12th. I almost said the 11th. That was yesterday. July the 12th. It is Night of Nights tonight, and it is Simplicity Day today.
Okay.
That's it. Just those two things. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Night of Nights. I wonder what you do on the Night of Nights.
I have no idea.
I bet it's important stuff. You probably need to wear a top hat. I don't know. Maybe not a top hat, but certainly a bow tie. I don't know. Maybe not that either. Anyway, get out there and celebrate on Night of Nights or Simplicity Day. It's all today on this 12th day of July.
It's 2017. Are you still getting your movies and TV the way we did last century? Quit overpaying for old technology. For just $20 per month, you get live news, live sports, live channels filled with movies, and more, all for just $20 per month. You can also stream movies and TV shows, so you can binge watch every episode of your favorite TV show. Learn more now at channelsurfertv.com. Get movies and TV for a low monthly fee at channelsurfertv.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. History is history, right, Heidi? Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe not. Some people don't want to call it history anymore. Are we getting a little too politically correct? I think so. Manchester's Stockport College. This is happening over in England. It's good to know we're not the only ones that are getting politically correct and weird in this world. As part of their Equal Opportunity Awareness program, they're educating their staff on words that they should not use because they could be offensive to some people. Like the word history.
Oh, my God.
How's the word history offensive? Well, because it's his story, not her story. So there should be
oh, my gosh.
History and herstory? I've never heard of such a thing. I don't think that's sexist. I don't know. Maybe it is.
Is it wrong to want to slap somebody you've never met?
I think so. I think it's wrong to slap anybody, but I understand your feelings.
This person needs to be slapped.
Well, it's not a person. It's a whole committee. The committee came up with other things, too. At this college, this is Manchester's Stockport College, and I'm sure that's what they talk like. Very important there. Ladies and gentlemen cannot be used. You can't say ladies, you can't say gentlemen because of their associations with social class. So they're expecting that if you say that, this person must be classy. But what if they're not classy? How about
poor people can't be a lady?
Apparently not.
Or a gentleman? You can't be gentlemanly or ladylike?
No, and they cannot wear a monocle like
that
this either.
That is ridiculous.
Mad. You can't say the word mad. You can't say crazy, and you can't even say manic. All of these have been ruled out because they're derogatory to people with mental health problems.
Oh, my gosh.
Like everybody on the committee that put this list together. And then, of course, man-made or man on the street. They were ruled as potentially sexist.
Oh, my gosh.
This river over here, this lake is man-made. No, it's not. It's people-made. But what if they can look back in history or herstory and find out that only men built that lake? Could it then be man-made? I'm just wondering. Okay, gonna move on.
Don't ever use the word herstory in front of me ever
I'm gonna go get some
again.
duct tape and put it around Heidi's head so it doesn't explode. And then we're gonna get to the rest of the
ridiculous
program.
thing I have ever heard.
It's all coming up, and the rest is herstory.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. William Vines rushed into a New York police station and told the officers on duty that two men in a BMW tried to cut him off in traffic, and they waved a gun at him. In fact, they're outside right now. They went out there. Guess what? They were out there. They were trying to open the trunk of his car, and I just realized we just read this story not too long ago, didn't we? Sorry about that. Anyway, Mr. Williams, probably shouldn't have gone to the police because the police were saying, I wonder what's in the trunk. Turns out it was $500,000 of cocaine that was in the trunk, and that's why the guys cut him off. They were trying to get their fix. So there you go. And I read your story now. I think I just read this 2 weeks ago. So, oops. Maybe my brain is on drugs. It only feels that way sometimes.
I got a story about somebody whose brain is on drugs.
Okay.
The other day, we listed something that we were selling on Craigslist.
Oh, don't do this.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing this. I'm going there.
Let's just wait.
No. This needs to be said. And I hope
They never
this
showed up.
person is listening.
Hi, if you are.
I got texts all day long.
On my
I'll
way.
be there in a little bit. I'm on my way. If I come right now, will
20
you
more
be
minutes.
there? I'll be there right now. I'm leaving whatever county. I'm not even going to
Downtown.
say the county. She was leaving the county and I'm assuming it's a she. I don't know. Could have been a man. I don't know.
Heidi got mad. Heidi
Didn't
got so
show
mad.
up. So then I texted 2 hours later, are you still coming? Yes, I'll be there they were using military time. First of all, what kind of a psycho
Would you just, a lot of people do
uses
that.
military
I'll be there at
time when they're
1400.
saying I'm going to be here at your house at a certain time. So whatever.
Hey,
So then I replied
deep breath,
and
Heidi.
said, you mean 2:30? And they're like, yes, I'll be there at 2:30. 4 o'clock arrives. They still hadn't shown up. I messaged them. I'm like, what is going on? Are you coming? Yes, we'll be there in a little bit. I'm so sorry. We're waiting on doctors. 7 o'clock at night. I wasted a whole day waiting for this nut job that kept telling me, yes, I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
Are we
I'm
still
on my
on
way.
there right now? Is this,
That is wrong.
Are we still?
Anybody
Seriously?
that disrespectful
Yes.
to other people deserves to be slapped.
There you
I'm
go.
coming across lots of people that need to be slapped
Okay.
lately.
Good news. We have your moment of duh on the way. And Heidi is going to go
I have a
take
story
Advil.
for the moment of duh.
No, you don't. It's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Heidi, you keep your lip zipped over there.
Got a Craigslist story
Sure you do.
for the moment of duh.
Leave that alone. Michael McCormick of Tavers, Florida, was fined $180 for saving 5 people from an alligator. He saw an alligator crossing a road toward a woman holding 2 babies and with 2 children at her side. He pulled over, got out his rope, lassoed the alligator and dragged it off the road, and then corralled it till the police got there. And then they set it free unharmed. Police reported him to the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and they fined him for being, quote, in possession of an alligator. He saved some lives. Then they said he should have concentrated on removing the people instead of lassoing and stopping the alligator. He hasn't decided whether to fight the ticket, but he says, well, if it came across the people again, I'd stop and do the same thing.
Good guys finish
Amen
last.
to you, brother. $180 ticket. I think there should be a GoFundMe or
I
Kickstarter or
bet the
something to help
people
him out.
that he saved
Yeah,
would
no
be more
kidding.
than happy to chip in a
Exactly.
couple bucks.
I would. There you go. Coming up, we got some amazing finds in Australia that we're going to tell you about. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
I'm John Small. Ever since I was a little fat kid, my nickname has been Big John Small. Well, I decided it was time to do something about that. When I first stepped on the scale, a little over a month ago, it said overload. That was kind of scary. After about a week, it said 336. Then a week later, 326. Now, less than 316. I've lost over 20 pounds in about a month, and I did it with a delicious pink drink. It's been super easy, and if you'd like to try it for free, go to the website pinkdrinkfree.com. They'll mail you some free samples and the details on how to get more if you like it. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. Heidi, this is crazy, but in Australia, scientists just came across a toad the size of a small dog. What do you get if you cross a toad and a dog?
I don't know.
Is it a frog? Probably not.
How would it be a frog?
I don't know, because dog and frog rhyme.
Toad.
I have no
Would it be
idea.
a tog?
I don't know. It's a tog. Hey, according to a new English study, the word definitely is the most misspelled word in the English language. I wouldn't doubt that. I definitely spell that wrong. Definitely every time. Because I try to put like defiantly. And then my computer doesn't, I don't know why, but my computer doesn't fix it because I spelled a different word correctly. So you coming over? Yeah, defiantly. Like, well, are you coming or not? Just wondering. Don't get so hasty with me. Another word on the list is broccoli. Another one is phlegm, which, why are you spelling that anyway? Bureaucracy, indict, consensus, unnecessary, sacrilegious, and prejudice. These are all words that we have a lot of trouble spelling. You know what a word is that I can never get spelled correctly on the first try?
That?
Entrepreneur. I'm in a group. It's an entrepreneur group, so I have to type that word once in a while. Every single time I have to look up at the top of the page to see E-N-T. Well, I'm going to stop before I get wrong. Sears is going to do a little more house cleaning and belt tightening. That's really sad. Going to close 43 more stores, 35 Kmart's, and 8 Sears locations going to be closed. That's sad. It is so sad to drive by and see those buildings empty.
It is, but you know what? They haven't done anything to update their stores to stay relevant.
I know. It's just sad.
They've just kind of fallen behind.
Well,
they even quit sending out their catalogs. Everybody loved their catalogs.
When I was a kid, I couldn't wait to get those. A smart home device contacted... let me say that the right way. A smart home device, that's probably the right way to say it, not a smart home device. Either way, it contacted local authorities in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Can you spell Albuquerque, Heidi?
Albuquerque.
Isn't she amazing? She is so good at that. Anyway, that's in New Mexico. A suburb during an altercation between a man and his girlfriend. County sheriff spokesperson says the man reportedly took out a gun and threatened to kill his girlfriend during the dispute. The man said, "Did you call the sheriff?" Well, the device mistook the man's question for a command, and it called the sheriff. They were able to safely remove the girlfriend and the daughter from the home after an hour-long standoff. They took the man into custody. How crazy is that? So anybody that has a smartphone, hopefully it didn't just call the sheriff.
Crazy.
No, I said it again. Do not. I'm going to just stop. Hey, we heard a lot about some crazy excuses given to try to get out of speeding tickets, but this might take the cake as the dumbest. Not a good one. Driver in Western Australia told police that it was the wind's fault that he was going so fast. He was going 80 miles an hour in his Holden Rodeo. That's apparently a vehicle. The citation shared on 3 different Twitter accounts. The officer wrote down, "Excuse, exactly as driver offered it, the wind was pushing me fast." Were you in a sailboat? He was cruising down the road in a Holden Rodeo. What the heck is a Holden Rodeo? I've never heard of that. I have to Google that one. George Clooney is making plans to move back to Los Angeles for the safety of his family after the latest spat of terrorist attacks in England caused by refugees. And it's really sad because wasn't he...
He's the one
recently
pushing for all of that to happen here.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and now he's coming back because it's too dangerous.
I wonder, that's not going to help his position on that much. Hey, in an attempt to be more environmentally friendly, Adidas is introducing a running shoe made from vegan-friendly, biodegradable material that will literally melt when you're done with them.
Will they
happens?
melt while you're wearing them?
I don't know. I hope not. Hopefully, this is something that you will be done with them before they melt. Why are you so late? Well, I'm sorry. I had to stop and get some new shoes. My other ones melted in the rain. I think that's just kind of it's a cool idea, but is it a good idea?
Maybe it takes a certain amount of time for them to start to break down like that.
You think there's a button you push? These shoes will self-destruct. I don't know. Maybe. Coming up in a bit, we've got a guest, and then we got more silliness right here on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I know it's hot out now. It's the middle of summer.
But imagine how cold it will be in November.
That's when we are going to go to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
We'd love it if you'd join us.
There's a week-long event called 80s in the Sand with a bunch of great music from bands like Loverboy, Starship, Night Ranger, and more.
Plus, you get to meet 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and so many more.
If you'd like to join us for this great time, go to 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to save $200 per person.
That's 80sinthesand.com. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a special guest joining us today, Rob Berger, and he is with doughroller.net. He hosts a podcast and has a blog, and we've got him on the line right now. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing well, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Now, there's a lot of people out there that do podcasts, and there's a lot of people out there that do blogs, but the thing that makes it kind of unique with Rob Berger, the guy we have on the line right now, is the fact that you're a former attorney who retired at age 49 from being an attorney to say, you know what, I'm going to quit that, and I'm going to do this podcast. I'm going to do this blog, and that's kind of an interesting thing to do, isn't it?
Well, I tell you, it's been wonderful for me. I practiced law for 24 years, and I enjoyed it, but not nearly as much as I do, producing a podcast and blogging.
Now, when you were doing this, when you're going through this transition, because you didn't just say, I want to do this someday, and I'm going to quit this law practice, and I'm going to start doing it. You kind of had this little transition, and during that time, when you were making the plan to do this other stuff full-time, did you have people in the law practice that thought you were crazy?
Maybe, but not for this reason. I mean, so the transition, they call it a transition. It took a decade, right? So
yeah.
I started blogging in 2007, and it was just sort of a hobby of writing about personal finance and investing. And it took a while for me to realize that, hey, maybe this could be a business. And then once I realized that, I still practiced law at the same time, and blogged together for a number of years. The folks that knew that I blogged and turned this into a business that also practiced law with me, no, they didn't think I was crazy at all. And I think many of them think they wish they could do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're still billing the hours, working the weekends, and I'm not. So no, I don't think they think I'm crazy. I think they wish they had done the same thing.
And you're actually making a living doing this as well. So it's not like you're doing this as just a hobby. Over that course of a decade, as you built an audience, you've gained quite a following, and you have 150,000 downloads a month. That's a pretty darn good number of people who are clicking on to listen, isn't it?
Yeah, and the podcast has been a lot of fun. I don't actually monetize the podcast. My money comes from advertising on the blog. That's where the revenue comes from. The podcast is more just a thing of, trying to reach out to people and help people with their money. And, it's really sort of grown over the years, and it's just a lot of fun to produce.
So for somebody listening that's saying, I've always wanted to be a blogger, or I've always wanted to do a podcast, let's talk about the blog, since that's the part you monetize. And they're thinking, wow, I could make enough money to replace the salary that he was making as an attorney, but that didn't happen overnight, did it?
No. I mean, I started in 2007. The thing that people don't realize is just how much work it is. I mean, I was up at 5 a.m. 7 days a week for 2 years straight, writing for the blog the first couple of hours of the day, and then getting ready for work and writing at lunch and writing at night when the kids and the wife go to bed. So, it's a huge time commitment. It's not very expensive. The good thing about blogging is it doesn't cost much money. It costs you $10 to get a domain name a year. The software you use, WordPress, is free. You start with almost no, money into the business. What you have to invest is your time.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel like giving up at some point because, you're going to be doing this day in and day out and making practically nothing.
And in the beginning, when you're putting a lot of time into this, you're not getting a lot out of it, are you?
Oh, no. I mean, I was working, like I said, up at 5 a.m. every day. I think the first 6 months I made $100 total. I'm not quite sure what kept me going in those early days. But eventually what happens is you start to see the revenue go up, and you start to see, whatever your topic is for your blog, you're helping people, and it kind of starts to snowball. But that takes some time, and you got to stick with it until you start to see those results. And it can take a year or more.
Again, our guest right now, Rob Berger, and he is with doughroller.net, and he's got a podcast, and he's got a blog, and has the opportunity to do some really fun things. Now, you get to talk about topics that are topics that matter to everyone. They really do, but that's something that not everybody could really speak in an intelligent way about. You talk about things like, financial tips for graduates, and talk about, credit card reward programs, and all of the different things out there that people really do care about because they're saying, hey, this stuff impacts me. How do you come up with the information? Is it finding specific guests to talk about those things, or do you have the background to do that? How do you do that?
Yeah, a number of ways. I mean, I was a personal finance and investing sort of junkie, which is why I picked the topic that I did 10 years ago. I handled the investments for our family. I managed our money. So a lot of it was just self-taught through trial and error and making lots of mistakes. And then, you learn from other people. You read a lot. You have guests on your show that you learn from. And another thing is I'm not the only one that writes for my blog. So I have other writers that have their own areas of expertise that they bring to bear on personal finance and investing. But, you kind of just learn day by day. You never stop learning. And that's sort of how you get the information that you share with folks.
Very nice. And I'm on the website right now, doughroller.net. And I just because I wanted to read some headlines to people so they kind of understand what to expect. One from back in June, 22nd of June, the 10 most expensive states to insure your automobile. Another one, the ultimate guide to eliminating your law school debt. How to make giving part of your financial plan with Vanguard Charitable. 4 easy ways to avoid overdraft fees. The best interest rates for June 2017. So these are all things, again, like I said, this is something that matters to a lot of people. So I think it's cool that you found this nice little niche and you found a way to speak to people in a market where, and I suppose there's other voices that are talking about this, but you found a way to have your voice stand out and become an authority, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's humbling. And you meet, like the Vanguard article you mentioned, I had the chance to talk with 2 folks from Vanguard Charitable. People are probably familiar with Vanguard, the mutual fund company. They also have a charitable arm that helps people give to charities. And so, you meet those individuals. I would have never met them if it weren't for the podcast. And you get to interview them and you get to learn about what they do and the people that they help. And it's really, it's a lot of fun. And each day is something a little different. I mean, money affects just about every area of our lives. So it's not as if you're ever at a loss for a topic to research and to write about.
Absolutely. Again, our guest today, Rob Berger, and his website is doughroller.net. And that's DOUGHROLLER.net. Just want to make sure I spell it at least once for people who don't necessarily know how to spell all of that. But because now, what is doughroller.net? Where does the name come from? How did you come up with that name?
I like to tell people that all of the good names were taken. It was going to be about money, and I just wanted something, memorable. And beyond that, honestly, it was so long ago, I don't exactly remember what I was thinking at the time. But trying to get something that's memorable and a little different, and I guess that's the best I could come up with.
There you go. Well, it's not bad. It's kind of a fun name. So, again, Rob Berger, doughroller.net, and he's got podcasts on there. He's got a bunch of blogs on there. If you have an opportunity and want to check it out, again, doughroller.net. Rob, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us today.
Thank you.
Again, Rob Berger from doughroller.net. And again, I'll put a link to all of this on our social media to make it really easy to find as well. You can find that at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Are you enjoying your summer, or are you worrying about this fall and how you're going to pay for college? A few years ago, a young man named Matthew was having those same worries. Then he went to work to find as many grants and scholarships as he could find, and he got a $70,000 top-rate education for free. Now he's showing you how to do it too. FreeEducationUniversity.com can help you find ways to get your schooling paid for, and right now you can get this information for less than half the regular price. Use promo code Radio1000 to save $1,000 at FreeEducationUniversity.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Hershey bar was actually used overseas during World War II as currency.
I could see that.
This would be the problem. I would not be able to save money at all. I mean, I can't now either, but then I certainly couldn't. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
An ancient Egyptian used to place his right hand on an onion when taking an oath. So like we do on a Bible nowadays, they'd put it on an onion.
Huh.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Buick is the car company that introduced blinkers or turn signals as standard equipment on cars in 1939, and there's some people that still don't know how to use those darn things. That's one of my pet peeves, and then I don't do it half of the time.
I know. I was just going to say, wow, that takes pot, meat, kettle.
Yeah, I know. I rather complain about others than myself. I'm trying. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The pound key, or the hashtag on your keyboard, is also called an octotroph. I think that's a fun thing. So, octotroph, awesome. Octotroph, John and Heidi Show. Doesn't sound as good as hashtag. Couple of fun facts right there. Brought to you by pinkdrinkfree.com. Not just another diet, it is a way of life. pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
I'm John Small. Ever since I was a little fat kid, my nickname has been Big John Small. Well, I decided it was time to do something about that. When I first stepped on the scale, a little over a month ago, it said overload. That was kind of scary. After about a week, it said 336. Then a week later, 326. Now, less than 316. I've lost over 20 pounds in about a month, and I did it with a delicious pink drink. It's been super easy, and if you'd like to try it for free, go to the website pinkdrinkfree.com. They'll mail you some free samples and the details on how to get more if you like it. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. I am about afraid to read this because I probably will not do well on this. Okay, things a grown man should never have, according to Men's Health.
Okay.
Do you think I'll do well on this?
I don't know. We'll see.
Depends here. A black eye. Okay, well, I'm not going to have that. Most likely. I'm trying to think of how long it's been since I've had a black eye. Have I ever had a black eye since we've met?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so either. How about a bruise or anything? Have I ever looked scuffed up at all?
You get bruises.
But just
You're
when
very
you beat
accident
me, but I mean when I fall down the steps. Another things grown men should never have: a witty email signature. It says quotes and song lyrics should not be in your. I don't think my email signature is witty at all. It takes about 5 pages of paper if you're going to print it, but not witty. PlayStation thumb. So you shouldn't be playing games. Things grown men should never have: a keychain with a bottle opener.
Agreed.
Things grown men should never have: a lucky shirt. I don't really have a lucky shirt, except for the one that I like that's really lucky, but it's not. I don't really have a lucky shirt. I have a lot of the same shirt, though. There are times that I'll go out and I wear this. I've got, how many versions of this shirt do I have?
So many.
I got like 6 of these. So there are times that I go out and people are like, do you wear
Didn't
that
you
same
wear
shirt?
that
I'm like, I have
yesterday?
6 or 7 of these things. And I found another one just recently. I pulled out a drawer.
One that
I was
had
like,
never been
hey,
used.
a brand new shirt, just like all of my others. An unstamped passport. That's something grown men should never have.
We both have unstamped passports.
We're going to fix that in November. Less than $20 in your wallet. I actually have more than $20 right now, but I usually don't have
Not
any
usually.
dollars. I usually have nothing in my wallet. Things grown men should never have: the need to quote movies like The Big Lebowski. I'm in trouble. Caddyshack, definitely in trouble. Superbad says reciting someone else's lines means that you don't have the wit to write your own. Oh yeah? Well, it also says I have a good memory, so there. Code words for ugly women. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. Even if you're not a grown man. Even a kid shouldn't do that. A Nerf hoop in your living room. A secret handshake. Drinking glasses with logos. And finally, things that grown men should never have. A recent story with the phrase, "So I said to the cop." I haven't had one of those in a while either, thank goodness. A couple of fun things that grown men should never have, according to Men's Health.
John and Heidi.
It's 2017. Are you still getting your movies and TV the way we did last century? Quit overpaying for old technology. For just $20 per month, you get live news, live sports, live channels filled with movies, and more, all for just $20 per month. You can also stream movies and TV shows, so you can binge watch every episode of your favorite TV show. Learn more now at channelsurfertv.com. Get movies and TV for a low monthly fee at channelsurfertv.com.
A couple months after undergoing a knee surgery, a woman in Michigan complained to her doctor and said, "Hey, I'm having trouble swallowing." A year later, 80-year-old Alice Hoppy complained to the doctor that she's been choking on her food. 4 months later, they discovered the problem. Her lower denture was caught in her throat.
Oh, my goodness.
Apparently, it got lodged there during the knee operation. Looking back, she told her doctor that someone had lost her dentures while she was in the hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
But it wasn't lost. He noted it on the chart, but they didn't do anything about it. They're like, well, we'll look around, but if we haven't found them. They fell down her throat.
Oh, my gosh.
So her dentures had been in her throat that whole time.
She couldn't feel that? Like,
Well, she
wouldn't
could, but she was
know
saying
that-
she was having some, you'd think they would have done an x-ray or something. I don't know. I don't know how you go about finding dentures in someone's throat. What am I, a doctor? No. If I was, I'd be off doing doctory stuff. I'm here talking to you fine folks on the radio instead. All right, this might be a good idea, Heidi. When we were, a young couple with young kids, it was tough to get them to eat good things, right?
Right.
We have a son that is 20 now, and I think he's probably 80% chicken McNugget.
Oh, yes.
Or not even just Mick, chicken nugget or chicken strip or chicken anything like that. Parents are getting clever, though, about sneaking nutritious food into their kids' diets, and there's an entire collection of books and websites and forums dedicated to that pursuit. Popular tricks include baking low-sugar carrot bread, using spiral cutters to turn zucchini into long pasta, and replacing mashed potatoes with mashed cauliflower. We've done that.
We have done that. Not for a very long time.
More tips on a website that have all of these things, and I'll throw a link on our page to make it really easy. It's called The Sneaky Chef. And again, I've got a link at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I know it's hot out now. It's the middle of summer.
But imagine how cold it will be in November.
That's when we are going to go to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
We'd love it if you'd join us.
There's a week-long event called 80s in the Sand with a bunch of great music from bands like Loverboy, Starship, Night Ranger, and more.
Plus, you get to meet 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and so many more.
If you'd like to join us for this great time, go to 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to save $200 per person.
That's 80sinthesand.com. Have you seen this? This is actually kind of an interesting story. A commencement speech given by Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts is getting praise after he wished the students bad luck. Yeah, sounds kind of weird, but take a listen. The speech was given back in June. It was June 3rd, so over a month ago. But only now is it getting the attention because Washington Post published excerpts of the speech where he told, this again is Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts, told students at the New Hampshire Elite Cardigal Mountain Boarding School for Boys, that's where his own son graduated from the 9th grade, that he hoped their future would see them hurt, ignored, and betrayed. And Robert Barnes at the Post called it the best thing Chief Justice has ever written this term. That's because Roberts went on to explain that with pain comes compassion. Being ignored teaches the importance of listening to others. He said betrayal teaches the importance of loyalty. One standout line, I wish you bad luck. Again, from time to time, bad luck means you will be conscious to the role of chance in life and understand that your success is not completely deserved and that your failure of the failure of others is not completely deserved either. So there you go. That's kind of cool. When you first hear that, you're going, this guy's kind of a jerk.
But then I knew where he was going with
once
that.
you
And
check
I think
into
that's
it.
absolutely fantastic.
But, if you want to pick and choose and do a fake news story on this, you just say Chief Justice told these kids to,
CNN's
good
version
luck.
was probably much different.
You didn't even need to mention them. Others already know. We don't. Hey, we don't have to go there. This was from the Washington Post, and again, I don't read that either. But I thought it was
they're
cool.
not much better.
Well, I just don't. But I thought that was really cool that he did that, and it's amazing. This happened June 3rd in the snap, instant, boom, zing, tweet. What are the other things called? Snaps. Isn't that what I did the first time? All that we didn't find out about it till now. How did it not go viral way back then? I don't know. We were talking about something else, apparently.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Always like to wrap things up around here with some good news. If it's okay with you, Heidi, I'd like to proceed. Can I do that?
Well, yes.
Are you okay with some good news right now?
I am.
All right. At the Scottsburg McDonald's on Sunday night, strangers became family. It started with a regular restaurant person who comes there, a regular, person that comes there a lot. She told the checkout person, you know what? I'm going to pay for the guy behind me, and I want you to tell him Happy Father's Day. So this actually happened a couple weeks back. But that dad didn't just take the free meal and run. He said, you know what? I'm going to pay it forward too. It's not really paying it forward, though. It's paying it behind, isn't it?
Okay.
Either way. Paid for the couple behind him. A few drivers became 10. 10 drivers became 100. From 8:30 p.m. until midnight on Father's Day of this year at the Scottsburg McDonald's on that Sunday night, the good deed under the Golden Arches didn't stop. And at the end of the night, 167 cars paid it forward or paid it backward. I think that's really cool. I have never been a part of one of those things, but we should do that sometime.
I have.
But I mean, not been a part of like where you big long chain of them.
Yeah, I have.
You've been like in the middle of it, or you started it?
Well, once I started it, and once I was in the middle of it.
pulled
The
in the
one
middle?
time I started it, it was at a coffee place.
Can we talk about this on the air?
Yes.
I'm afraid to see where this is
But
going.
it's just interesting to see the other side of that perspective, because when I said I want to buy theirs too, the lady behind the counter rolled her eyes and then yelled to everybody, "We got another one of these going." Like they were mad.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's apparently it's harder to keep track of.
I bet it is.
You know, so
It's probably really hard.
yeah, she was
How much
not
is yours?
very
Okay,
happy.
carry the 12. I don't know. Just give me $8.
I
What are
was
you going
like-
to order, sir? She's buying yours.
I was like, I'm sorry. I thought I was doing something nice.
I never thought about that. That would be really hard to keep the order with the food. And
Yeah.
What did you order? Does it really matter? Throw some stuff in a bag. I'm driving away. Never thought of that. All right. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. If you'd like to see the, paying it forward thing that happened on Father's Day, I've got a link to that at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a couple of special guests joining us today. Going to be talking about a topic that is kind of an interesting topic, meningitis B. This is something that I don't know a whole lot about, but the good news is we got some guests that do know quite a bit about it. Dr. Richard Chung is a specialist in this, and we also have Patti Wukovits with me, and we're going to be talking about the Kimberly Coffee Foundation as well, and that's Patti's daughter. Let's start with Dr. Chung. Thank you for joining us, sir. How are you today?
Very good. Thanks for having us.
Very good. Now, give me a little bit about a little info about your background and how you're associated with meningitis B.
Sure. So my day job is I'm a pediatrician at Duke University, and I care almost exclusively for teenagers and young adults. We're here to talk about meningitis B, which is a meningococcal infection. This is an invasive bacterial infection that can cause very serious physical consequences to those affected. In absolute terms, it's an uncommon infection, but when it happens, it can be very severe. Thankfully, there are actually vaccinations available against all 5 key types of this bacteria, A, C, Y, W, and type B. The reason why we're honing in on this meningitis B, this 5th type, is that the vaccination is relatively new, and we find that many families and teenagers are unaware that it's available to them, and so we wanted to kind of raise that to the fore.
Thank you for doing what you're doing to get the word out, and we've got Patti with us here as well. Now, Patti, this is something that's affected your life in a very personal way, isn't it?
Yes, it has. My daughter, Kimberly Coffee, was a healthy 17-year-old high school senior in 2012 when she came home from school one afternoon feeling achy and basically had body aches and a temperature of 101. I spoke to her pediatrician, and he said it sounded like the flu and to bring Kim in the next morning. But by the next morning, her symptoms had progressively gotten worse, and I rushed her to the emergency room. She was having a lot of pain. She had a purplish rash on her body, and by the time I got her to the emergency room, the doctor told me that she suspected Kimberly had bacterial meningitis.
Are there other symptoms that you would have been able to know about, or how would a doctor know the difference between the flu and this meningitis, Dr. Chung?
John, that's actually the key point here, is that this particular infection is very difficult to diagnose early on. So early symptoms, as Patti was kind of mentioning, are very flu-like: headache, nausea, vomiting, fever, those sorts of things. And, in the middle of winter, or really any time of the year, most college students, most parents at home with their high school student are just going to kind of look at those symptoms and think, okay, probably a virus of some sort and that sort of thing. But unfortunately, if it is this rare infection, those first 24 hours are quite crucial. We know that the infection can progress very rapidly, even causing death in those first 24 hours. And so diagnosing it early and treating it aggressively is really the key. However, we don't want parents to be in that position of having to wonder and having to sort of be always on call to figure that out. And so that's why we're here to talk about prevention altogether. Immunization is really the only way to kind of take this potential rare infection off the table altogether. And to my view, as a parent myself, that's the way to go.
With prevention being the only option, is this something that's really hard to prevent? Is this something that's really hard to inoculate against?
These vaccines are available, and they are effective against all 5 key types, including meningitis B. Now, I have to be clear, this is a very rare infection in absolute terms, and so it is uncommon. But again, in those rare cases when it happens, it is almost always quite severe. And so it is one of those complicated decision points. And that's why our main conversation and our main recommendation is for parents of teenagers and young adults and the teens and young adults themselves to get educated, to go to the website that we've created around this, meetmeningitis.com. There's a lot of great information that's evidence-based on that site. And then take that information into the doctor's office. Have a good conversation to really explore that further and make a very personalized decision that's right for your family.
Very good. Again, that website, meetmeningitis.com, and you get details there. It kind of explains a little more about what we're dealing with here. And Patti, thank you again for sharing your story with us. Tell us a little bit about the Kimberly Coffee Foundation.
I founded the Kimberly Coffee Foundation in memory of Kimberly, and specifically it's to educate parents and healthcare providers about meningitis B and the meningitis B vaccines that are available. I want parents to know the facts. I don't want another family to ever experience what I personally went through, but more importantly, what my daughter Kimberly went through. So we're really working to educate parents, and to further our education efforts, the Kimberly Coffee Foundation has teamed up with Pfizer to further educate parents about the need to have their teens and young adults vaccinated against meningitis B.
Well, thank you for all that you're doing. That's amazing that you're doing that. And again, thank you so much for all of your efforts there.
Thank you.
Again, our guest today, Dr. Richard Chung, and we've also had Patti Wukovits, and we've been visiting about meningitis B. And if you'd like to learn more, there is a website, meetmeningitis.com. You can get a lot of detail there, and I encourage you to check that out. Again, it's meetmeningitis.com. Thank you both for taking the time to visit with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
And again, the website, once again, meetmeningitis.com. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.